Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Joking Dolphin Gaming Pod. I'm Mark, and as always, I'm joined by Matthew.
Hello.
And Nathan.
Hey up.
Well, it's been a very interesting couple of weeks for us, hasn't it, chaps?
It definitely has.
Yes.
It turns out that we've all managed to secure at least one of the new consoles. Can you believe it?
We are now current gen.
I mean, you predicted it was 2025 on the last pod. Like you'd get one, right? So,
Well, yeah, we managed to fast forward a little bit, so it's good.
So I've managed to get an Xbox Series X. Matt, you've managed to get a PS5. And Nathan, you lucky boy, it's managed to secure both of them.
I am a very lucky boy.
Look at that.
I'm sure we'll get onto that in later on. But...
Definitely, yeah.
In due time.
Okay, so where shall I begin? So have you two heard about EA Gate?
No,
I don't think so.
That's really surprising. Maybe this will jog your memory. So FIFA 21 has been rocked by EA Gate, a scandal after a company employee is alleged to have sold coveted Ultimate Team cards for thousands of pounds.
Okay.
Ooh.
I didn't realise this was what it was called, but yes. I've heard of this, yeah.
So unconfirmed direct messages appear to show so this is an article from Eurogamer. So unconfirmed direct messages appear to show a company employee selling icon cards in packages priced 750 to €1,000.
Oh, dear.
In one WhatsApp message, 3 Prime Icon Moment cards are offered for €1,700.
Bargain.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Must be.
There's a bunch of screenshots of like people who've like screenshotted people offers they've been made by these apparent employees, and like showing their vast teams that they managed to make or buy, shall I say. Icon cards are among the most sought after in FIFA Ultimate Team. They include legendary players such as Brazilian Ronaldo, Pelé, Ronaldinho, Zinedine Zidane, and Ruud Gullit, and are nearly impossible to obtain through the mode's controversial loot boxes. Even rarer are Prime Icon Moments, special versions of icon cards that mark one game or tournament that was special for the players. So players are known to have spent thousands of pounds on packs in a bid to obtain these super rare icon cards. EA has been criticised for not revealing the exact probability when the chance to obtain a card of a certain quality is below 1%, as is in the case with icon cards. FIFA Ultimate Team has always had a black market for the buying and selling of FIFA Ultimate Team coins, which can be used to buy icons from the in-game auction house when they are available. But this is the first time we've seen an allegation that players have been able to buy cards directly with cash. So, I mean, it's unsavoury. I mean, I think there's a lot of bad things about the whole Ultimate Team thing to begin with anyway. This doesn't help.
Well, yeah.
I used to buy coins off eBay. I used to set myself a little allocation every month. And basically the way it used to work is that you would put a really rubbish player up on the store for like 1 million coins, for example, and you would buy those coins off somebody off eBay, and they would purchase that player for that buy it now price. And then eventually they got wise to that, and then they took that away. And since then, they've found other ways of being able to exchange players and coins. But yeah, it's just another thing, isn't it?
Well, this is at the end of it. So EA, they responded saying they was going to launch an investigation. So they put out some pithy little tweet saying, we're going to make a full investigation of all this nonsense. And they eventually put out a blog post. This is an update on our player item investigation. Earlier this week, we were made aware of suspicious activity relating to highly rated content in FIFA Ultimate Team. We learned that FIFA Ultimate Team items were granted to individual accounts that did not earn them through gameplay, i.e. by opening a pack, purchasing through the transfer market, completing a reward challenge, or other engagement. It appears that one or more EA accounts, which were either compromised or being used inappropriately by someone within EA, directly entitle items to these individual accounts. While a full investigation is underway, we wanted to share an update on the issue, including what we've learned to date, an overview of the FUT content granting process, and the actions we're taking to tackle this serious problem. The alleged behaviour is unacceptable, and in no way do we condone granting or purchasing player items in exchange for money. This is EA, who've done this process of making this gambling market to begin with, telling people they don't exchange players for money. There's something very suspicious about this wording here. This practice runs counter to the game's competitive integrity.
Next joke, please.
It's a violation of EA's user agreement, that's probably right, and is not something we tolerate. We do not allow the trade or sale of items outside our game for many reasons. I assume this is what you've just been talking about, including that it would create an unequal playing field for our community. The whole process is an unequal playing field.
When I say the whole
that's it.
loot boxing is the point.
There's a bit more, but it says, we know that the trust of our communities is hard earned. Does anybody trust the EA FIFA community to begin with?
Well, we say most of the time, if Pro Evolution came out with a half-competent game, we'd move over to that. So that's as much trust as we've got in them.
And is based on principles of fair play. Again, next joke. This illicit activity shakes that trust. Trust that didn't begin to begin with. We've also been clear since the creation of Ultimate Team that items cannot be exchanged outside our game, and that's key to how we keep our game safe from manipulation and bad actors. So unless it's EA doing the manipulation themselves, they don't like it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. They're just annoyed that they're not raking that dollar in for them players.
Yeah.
This is a breach of that principle as well, and we won't let it stand. So, yeah, it's a bit laughable, really, that EA would get on the high horse about people making money off the back of this. If it's individually EA employees, then is it on EA's behalf or is it straight in their pockets? Or...
Well, it's got to be in their pockets, because if it's outside of EA's terms of service, then that employee could potentially get fired for doing that, making money off the backs of the company.
No, they'll give him a pay rise and find him, How can you monetize this more for us? That's what they'll do.
We're going to move you into sales. Great job.
Yeah. But this is led into one final thing. So this is a guy on Twitter who... So EA and FIFA obviously have been saying that to get these sort of like dream teams, it's all achievable in-game. Right? So this guy's got a team here which is made of 100 million coins team that he's got. Okay. So in his team, he's got Brazilian Ronaldo, Pelé, Ronaldinho, Rudolph, Cruyff, Vieira, Roberto Carlos, Maldini, Ferdinand, Zambrotta, and Van der Sar. So that's his $100 million team. 100 million coin team, sorry.
Oh.
So EA claims that this is achievable. So, and in a series of tweets, this guy called Scuds TV mentions the 3 ways that FIFA says you can achieve this realistically in-game.
Mm-hmm.
So, number 1, play games. So, how you manage to get 100 million coins through just gameplay. Assuming an average of 1,500 coins a game, accounted for weekly rewards, that's a mere 66,666 games.
I've just worked something out on my calculator. So when I were playing Ultimate Team back in the day, you'd normally get about 500 coins-ish per game. And it turns out if I wanted that 100 million team, it'd take me 40,000 hours of gameplay to get that.
Well, I was going to say, so that's 66,666 games if he wants to achieve 100 million coins. At an average of 20 minutes a game, that's a mere 22,000 hours of gameplay, or 916 days of gameplay 24/7.
Yeah.
That's 2.5 years.
2.5 years non-stop.
Of a game that's annual.
It's achievable, but you'll be 2 years away from where you want to be.
So,
and then it starts all over again. That's the annoying thing, because you build your team 1 year, and then you start from scratch the next year. So even if you do this, it's all for naught anyway, because people are playing the next game.
So that is unrealistic, I think, for safe to say. Number 2, a way to get this: monitoring the market. So trying to get 100 million coins through trading. So assuming an average of 10,000 coins profit per trade, I need to make a mere 10,000 trades. Assuming I trade 10k every 10 minutes, I will need to trade for 1,650 hours or 69 days of trading 24/7.
I mean,
which is like
I can
2.5.
see this. I can see some people being dedicated to that just by having the Ultimate Team app on their phone. So you can just do trading through that then.
Yeah, but that's 69 days of training 24/7. That's a long ass time.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
is.
No sleep.
But I suppose some
Like
people
faithless.
can be dedicated, I
So
suppose.
is that realistic? No. And the third option, and EA's favourite, spending money. 100 million coins from FIFA points. So assuming an average of 100,000 coins profit per 12k FIFA points spent, I need to purchase 1,000 12k FIFA points. At a cost of £79.99 per 12k, I will need to spend a total of £79,990 on FIFA points.
Oh dear.
Realistic?
Of course it is for the millionaires.
I mean, for streamers, maybe. Could be.
They make the money back on pack openings. Probably. If you're like a big
Well, it was
streamer
all
and you
range,
did it.
wasn't it? I don't know if it's still
Like 2014, 2015, now I'm big on watching pack openings on my lunch at work. Those were the days.
Oh, part of the problem, mate. Part of the problem.
That's it. I'm fueling it.
So he goes on to finish saying, you need to understand the options you put in front of your community do not allow everyone to achieve whatever they desire in your game within reasonable limits. You have put the high-end content behind an extreme paywall or an unachievable time wall. The stance you take is unethical. You are 1. Encouraging your community to spend huge amounts of time playing your game at detriment to their mental health. Or 2. Encouraging your community to spend, for most, an unethical amount of money at detriment to their financial health.
Yeah. I mean, one of the reasons why I used to buy coins was because I weighed it up in my head. I could spend £15 on these coins, or I could play for 60 hours to get the same thing. And it just didn't. For me, I enjoy playing FIFA, but not that much.
Yeah,
So,
if even you say you can't enjoy FIFA that much, then that's saying something. Because we know
I know
that
was my biggest game of 2020.
Yeah, I'd probably say back in like 2014, 2015, I was on like the Ultimate Team hype train. Like, I tried to work out like if I could spend like 30 quid a month, and kind of the wage that I was on, I'd still be fine. I wouldn't be missing that 30 quid, but it would help me sort of get the team that I'd wanted at that point. But
I've never
not worth it.
I've never understood Ultimate Team. Just never gotten into it. It seems so much of a gamble.
I loved it when it first came out because I don't think I really spent out, and at that point, like, teams were very basic. There's no icons, no like upgraded stuff. But I'd like a Spanish team, and somehow had Messi in it, and I was pretty good at that point. I think that's kind of what initially hooked me, like the first iteration, where it wasn't too monetized at that point. Like, you still spend money on it, but it's more achievable to get packs at that point and get good players. But obviously, that's how it all starts, and then rolls on. You think you're spending just like 10 quid a month, and then suddenly it's 20 quid. And suddenly it's like 100 quid in one go.
And then you're living in a cardboard box.
Yeah.
With no PlayStation or Xbox. I think one of the things that keeps you going though is like the competition between your mates and like the opening packs and telling them what you get. There's like a camaraderie around it.
Yeah. I was in a group where we loved like rubbing at each other, like, oh, guess who I've got? I've got like Messi or something. Or like, oh, I've just pulled Team of the Year, Sergio Ramos, and look at me. But
I think it's all very manipulative. Don't like it.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it is. It obviously is.
Anyway,
yeah.
should we move on to something else? Don't like any of that.
So, through everything that we've just spoken about, €1,700 is a bargain if you want 3 of them.
What?
So 79 grand.
The 3 prime icon
yeah,
players.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what he's trying to get at.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You want to spend that money? You go ahead.
No, not for me anymore. Right. Shall we skedaddle along?
Sure.
So, in the past week or so, the long-anticipated acquisition of Bethesda has been completed. So I wanted to talk about what this means at this stage, because they've come out and said that the contracts for Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo are going to be honoured. So they're going to be staying on PlayStation. But what does that mean for gaming going forward? Because they did a roundtable event a few days ago, and they didn't outright say that everything going forward is going to be just for Xbox in so many words. So it might be that things are going to be coming for other systems.
I don't understand why people are finding this very confusing. If you buy something for 7.5 billion,
oh yeah, you are going to want to.
You're going to use them to have exclusives on your console.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are getting in the tits that things might be just being exclusive. So of course they are. Why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, I mean, in my eyes, I think it's just Microsoft and Xbox playing catch up in terms of getting these IPs.
Well, that's the thing. I think because they've got, let's be honest, they got destroyed in the last generation in terms of like first party exclusives, that kind of thing. That they needed something in this new generation, and this is a great acquisition for them. Plenty of great IPs, and
lots of IPs.
In order to pull players to them, they're going to have to make them exclusive, surely. So I don't see why people are surprised by it.
Well, it's only similar to kind of what Sony did last generation. I mean, at the start of the gen, Insomniac was making Sunset Overdrive for Xbox only.
Yeah.
And then later in the cycle, they get bought by Sony, and now we've got Marvel Spider-Man that's exclusive to Sony. I mean, I know Microsoft fans, I should say, were up in arms at that point, but it's like that's just kind of how it goes. If you buy a studio, you get exclusive rights to their IPs and stuff.
Just otherwise, there'd be no point buying the studio.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there'd be some.
Well, you would get money off the sales still, but so your competitors would be funding you in effect.
But the thing is,
if you want to drive people to Game Pass and PC, for example, you've got to have those as exclusive.
Yeah, because it encourages to buy the hardware with you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But now they've so after this finally went ahead, they put 20 games on Game Pass, haven't they?
Yeah, straight on there. Boom.
Yeah, all the classics, like not all the Wolfensteins, but a good few of them, and a lot of the more recent ones. Evil Within, Doom,
Fallout.
Yeah,
I think all the Fallout's from there. I think was
New
it
Vegas.
Fallout?
New Vegas wasn't on it though.
No, was Fallout 3?
I think so.
I think New Vegas might already be on Game Pass.
Oh, it might be. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because that's Obsidian, wasn't it? Which is also owned by Xbox.
Well, yeah. Fueling those New Vegas 2 rumors. Ooh.
I think it'll be interesting though.
Hope so, because they've made the best Fallout so far.
It's an exciting time.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It makes me feel happy that I bought a Series X, because now we'll be getting these games. I just can't wait for the next Elder Scrolls in the next couple of years, hopefully. I think there's going to be some...
I don't think that's going to be the next couple of years.
You're not?
That's still going to be one. Well, I say Starfield's still got to come out. I think that's...
They're really working the engine for that, aren't they? I think.
Well, it's going to be the first game on the new creation engine or something like that.
I kept getting confused whether it was Starfield or whether it was the next Elder Scrolls that were going to be the first one.
No, I'm pretty sure it should be Starfield. It'd be silly to still continue using creation engine for it.
Yeah,
especially on this generation now. Be weird. But we'll wait for the next iteration of Skyrim.
Can't wait for that.
I'm sure that'll come along. Should we talk about the Square Enix Presents then?
Go on then.
Sure.
Well, to be honest, not much really appealed to me from this? Is there anything that stood out to you?
I kind of liked Outriders. I thought that was
Outriders
fairly
looked interesting.
I didn't, but go ahead. What was it?
Yeah. I don't know, but any game that has like giant creatures with weird appendages just grasps me. Don't take that in the wrong way.
Interesting.
I saw these like giant walking things, like with arms like all over the place, and it was like, yeah, this is cool. I like this. It could step on me and kill me, but yeah, I'm invested now. Yeah, I
don't know where to go from there.
Yeah, so it's going to be produced by People Can Fly, who worked on the Gears franchise. So that's kind of pretty exciting because I enjoy the Gears of War franchise. So hopefully they'll try and transition some of that stuff across, which is interesting to me. So it looks like the Outriders can control like time, space, and matter, which will give it quite a weird kind of concept. And then there's different classes that you can select as well, and then skill trees and crafting. So there is quite a lot to it. And the world itself looks fairly interesting as well. So it's set on a planet called Enoch, and the planet's kind of evolved to try and kill humans by the looks of it. So, I mean, it's something that I'd definitely be interested in giving a go, and I'll keep my eye on it as it evolves. But, well, there's not too long to wait because it's going to be out on the 1st of April. So,
no, it's true. There's a demo out for it right now. Don't know if that's just for PlayStation or if it's on Xbox as well. But might give it a go. It looked interesting for sure.
Yeah, I think I'll get that downloaded later. I didn't know there were a demo, so thanks for that, Matt.
No worries.
Did anything else grasp your attention?
I like the stuff they were talking about on the 25th anniversary for Tomb Raider.
So yeah, they're re-releasing the 3 rebooted games, aren't they?
Yeah.
The Definitive Survivor bundle. Yeah.
I'll tell you the one thing that really did stand out to me about this stuff. There's going to be a Tomb Raider cookbook.
Yes, that was the first thing that I wrote down. Like, there's going to be a cookbook.
What? Cookbook. It's like, okay. I don't remember a lot of cooking. I mean, I've only played the first 2. I don't remember a whole lot of cooking in. Do you? Or have I just like misremembered that? Or not involved in it? I don't know. Is there?
I don't think there is. I mean, I know there's crafting and stuff. I don't recall any real like cooking and whatnot.
I don't think you just sit down at your campfire.
Well, say you can craft you whatever you want.
I suppose we'll find out. Like when that cookbook came up, I'm not being chauvinistic, but I said, Lisa, there's going to be a cookbook. And she's like, what? And then she ran downstairs. Yeah. There's also going to be like a Croft Manor coming to Fortnite on the 23rd of March. So that seems pretty interesting for the Fortnite fans.
Yeah. Well, it's because she's in the new season, season 6. So, which actually they've done a justice, I think, with her design because they've got her rebooted look, and then they've got the 25th anniversary look, which was, I think, how she looked in Legends or the anniversary game, I should say. But then they've also got like the actual classic Lara Croft look as well, and they all look really, really nice. Like they're designed quite well. I'll give it that. Fortnite seems to know how to design pop culture characters quite well. John Wick looks pretty cool in the game.
To be honest, earlier on in the presents, they said that wait till the very end because we got something special to show you. And at this stage, I was thinking, are they going to reveal something about a new Tomb Raider game? But it wasn't that, but we can get to that a bit later. So the last bit was a little bit disappointing for me, but still intrigued.
Can't remember what the last bit was.
There was some mobile stuff that I don't care about.
Oh, the mobile stuff just went straight on that.
Yeah, I was like, now.
Oh, Just Cause Mobile.
Yeah.
How I was so disappointed that they said that was mobile. Because when I saw it, I was like, they're actually doing the Just Cause 2 multiplayer mods, but like properly, and like this would be like awesome to have Just Cause like multiplayer, because Just Cause is like a free fun game, just mindless destruction and whatnot.
Mm.
And like I could see how well it would fit in like a battle royale kind of sense. As soon as they said it was mobile, I was like, ugh. Why? Why is everything going mobile?
I saw the trailer and I was thinking to myself, the game is going to look nothing like this. Why are you even showing this to me? And then I switched off for a bit.
Well, it might do. I mean, mobile games are looking a lot better than what they used to. Like COD Mobile looks pretty decent for a mobile game.
Yeah, but if I immediately think mobile, I straight away think
you're like Candy Crush.
No, but I think monetization.
Well,
yeah.
That's what I immediately think about when I think of mobile games.
True.
Saying that, the more console games go on, I seem to think that's
the same.
So.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. We've just spent the last 15 minutes talking about FIFA, so yeah.
Yeah, that mobile game.
Yeah, they also talked about the new an AR Space Invaders game, which, well, Space Invaders again. I'd be interested to see what they do with it. Yeah.
Oh, pretty cool. Like proper Space Invaders, but in like a real time sense. That would be kind of. I'd like to give it a go at least.
I just want to pop back to the Tomb Raider cookbook.
Oh yeah.
I've just found it on Amazon.
Oh.
So this is the description of the cookbook. So Tomb Raider, the official cookbook and travel guide, is a thrilling and delicious tutorial on recipes based on the cultural history of the many locations Lara Croft has visited throughout her 25 years of global adventures, bringing the taste back home to you. Inspired by the hit Tomb Raider video game franchise, this book features over 40 recipes for the many locations Lara Croft visits and explores across the globe, with food and drinks inspired by key characters and locations. Also included is expert information on the cultural history of the many beautiful cities and countries to which she travels. A global exploration, this unique cookbook and travel guide takes fans on an exclusive journey across the planet, chasing the thrills and adventures of Lara Croft. Featuring beautiful full-colour photography, as well as stunning art from the games, this is the ultimate gift for fans, travellers, and food aficionados alike. So there you go.
Okay.
So actually probably nothing to do with the actual games, really.
No.
It's just a licensed cookbook then.
So it's not
I'd like to know what like a Lara Croft drink would taste like.
It's not like just a rabbit she just chucked on the fire or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just half skinned.
Yeah. First put an arrow.
Here's how to make a burnt rabbit meal.
Make a spike pit to catch the cat.
First skin rabbit, yeah.
Yeah. Get yourself your bow and arrow.
Yeah. Makeshift it from the bark of a ancient tree, something. Oh.
Yeah, so that's going to be out on the 26th of October by the looks of it. So, yeah.
What's that?
The cookbook.
Oh, the cookbook. Okay.
So it's $21.53 on Amazon at the minute. So a little bit pricey, but I think for Tomb Raider fans, it's definitely something to get for your collection.
Well, it's not the first thing I would have thought about making on the 25th anniversary, but whatever. Right, back to the Square Enix presents then. The final game. So, one that interested me, Life is Strange: True Colors. Now, I don't think either of you played any of the Life is Strange games, have you?
I haven't. I need to get around to it. I know what they are about, though.
Yeah. So I've only played the first one, and basically the series, but I kind of know what the second one's kind of about as well. So they're sort of teenage or young coming of age stories, basically, and it's about a young character dealing with usually a tragedy and their relationships around them that usually involve one person. So in the first game, he was you played a character called Max, and he was in regards to a best friend called Chloe. Yeah. In the second game, I think it's a boy called Daniel and his brother. And in this game, this new one, it seems like it's, I can't remember her name.
Alex.
Thank you.
So Alex goes to Haven Springs, and the brother, because she's been invited by her brother Gabe.
Yeah.
And then he dies under mysterious circumstance, and that's like the catalyst for the game.
Yeah. So every game seems to have this, like, there's a tragedy.
Yeah, there's always a tragedy involved.
And the main character always tends to have some sort of power. Some sort of.
Yeah.
So in the first game, Max had time manipulation. She could rewind time. In the second one, Daniel, I think he had like telekinetic power, so he could move objects and that kind of thing. And in this one, she can read emotions from other people.
Yeah.
She can read the emotions, but also feel them as well. If the emotion is too overwhelming. So
if there's one thing about the Life is Strange games that I know about, is that they are very emotional. That first game destroyed me on an emotional level. I could never play it again. I could never play that again. And I purposely put off playing the other ones because I just don't know.
You don't want to go back.
I don't know if I could go through all that turmoil again.
Well, do you know what, Mark? You're in for a treat because they've got a remastered collection.
Well, that's just the first one, is it? And
it's the first.
Oh, the first
it's the
one
first
and
two.
Before the Storm.
No, Before the Storm is a prequel to the first one.
Right.
So there's actually 4 games in total.
Oh, I thought there were only 3. Fair enough.
So there's Life is Strange, which is the one I've done. So the main first game. Then there was Before the Storm, which followed Max's best friend, Chloe. So that was Before the Storm. So the first game was made up of 5 episodes. So that Before the Storm was made up of 3 episodes. And then I think Life is Strange 2 was 2 episodes. But this new one is going to be all at once, released all at once.
Yeah.
So that's going to be slightly different. But before I play this one, I'm going to have to play the others first. But I just don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. Because I tell you what, no, if you thought Last of Us was emotional, Life is Strange took more out of it than Last of Us did.
Really? Wow.
Both.
I got the Life is Strange, the complete edition, on Amazon a Prime Day about 3 years ago now, and I've not touched it yet. Lisa's played it, but I've not, so I might have to give it a go.
Yeah,
see what it's like.
Deals with some very heavy hitting subjects.
I might stream it.
Oh, I don't know.
Stream the emotions.
That's it.
You were doing more streaming than that. You'd be streaming tears, mate. That's what you were doing.
Tears, buggers.
Was there anything else from that Square Enix? No. Took your answer? Because that was pretty much the only thing that interested me. And the cookbook, of course.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, they had some Marvel Avengers stuff in there as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask your guys' thoughts on this. To be honest, for me, the combat actually looked quite good. Better than I thought it was going to look.
The combat is fun, if a little repetitive. Don't know what else to say about it, really. I suppose we being a new character, you're going to be seeing sort of new stuff. So, like Clint looked like it might be fun to use. Mr. Hawkeye. But it's kind of nice to see that they've actually got some sort of roadmap now as well. Like, okay, we've fixed most of the problems that we had at launch. Now we can start focusing on actual content.
Have they? No.
I said most. I didn't say all.
Well, they announced a new character.
Yes, Mr. Wakanda.
Black Panther. So that should be it.
He looked pretty good, actually. I liked his design.
I can't remember the name of the DLC though. Something.
Isn't it some like War of Wakanda, something like that?
Yeah.
Something like that. Some wars coming to Wakanda because they had like a talk over between Swan and Claw, so they were trying stealing the vibranium from Wakanda, like everyone else seems to be.
So, well, this is sort of a side note to it. This wasn't in that, but Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics had mentioned that Spider-Man is coming to Marvel Avengers, but not before Black Panther. And no timescale on Spider-Man has been released either.
No, he's looking very kind of next year-ish.
I have to say, surely this must annoy Sony. So you had this exclusive thing, and surely the whole point was to like encourage people to coming to PlayStation when the game launched.
Mm.
And now it's like, when Spider-Man launches, who's going to bother going and buying the game just to go on that? Because everyone knows that the game's in such a state. But why would you go do that? So to me, the ship has sailed at this game. And
it's going to be too late, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to encourage anybody to go and actually go to the PlayStation anyway. Very odd.
Yeah, I feel like one way they might save this game is if they announce that they go free to play at some point.
Well, they've announced that that's not in the foreseeable future. They're not crossing that.
Well, if Spider-Man does come out
next
next year, then they could pop it on PS Plus or something, maybe. If it's
we'll see if the
people
are still playing the game at that point.
Okay, should we move on to other things? Do you want to hear some more bad news?
Oh, go on! I love bad news.
I'd rather not, but you're going to tell me anyway. So.
About another company which has achieved extreme success in terms of accumulating the money and then doing bad things. So Activision has fired dozens of its shift away from live events. So obviously due to the pandemic, fewer live events are occurring. But it seems like so anyway, this is an article from Bloomberg. It says Activision Blizzard fired dozens of people on Tuesday across various departments, including 50 employees who handled esports programming and other live events. The dismissals affect less than 2% of the total workforce, or fewer than 190 employees. So it's
189.
That's a bit confusing. So it's 190 employees basically. So the person with knowledge of the matter who asked not to be identified because the number isn't public. The cuts signal that Activision plans a broader shift away from in-person events after a year of coronavirus lockdowns. Players are increasingly choosing to connect with our games digitally and the esports team. Are they? Is that true?
Well, I imagine most tournaments that are under like the Call of Duty stuff would have to be digital now. So
much like traditional sports entertainment and broadcasting industries has had to adapt its business due to the impact the pandemic has had on live events. A company spokesperson said, US workers will receive a minimum of 90 days severance and health benefits for a year, as well as job transition support, the spokesperson said. But get this for a kick in the teeth. They were also given $200 gift cards to Battle.net, the Blizzard online game service.
Go get those COD points.
You're sacked, but here's some gift cards. Give us money back.
Yeah. Well, here's money to buy our games and our merchandise.
Well, if you think about it, if they've been working for that company, they're probably invested in its games, so it might not necessarily be a bad thing.
Well, just give me the $200. But this has led. So, have you heard about the Blizzard CEO?
Oh yeah.
What's happened to this?
Mm.
So, an investor group has got annoyed because the CEO is getting a $200 million bonus payout.
Oh no!
$200 million.
So, investor firm CTW, the investment group, is reporting that Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick is poised to receive a huge cash payout to the tune of $200 million. According to a statement, the firm is none too happy about this, as it appears to have come as part of a loophole in the system. Right up front, it mentions bearing that CTW is an activist investor group that has a mission to hold directors and executives accountable for what they describe as irresponsible and unethical corporate behaviour. The numbers they reported appear to stem from their own calculations. Kotick will reportedly receive this massive payout thanks to the shareholder value creation incentive provision in his employment agreement. This loophole allows Kotick to receive a full performance equity payout from previous years, regardless of whether company milestones were reached. As a result, and in the face of the company's share price increasing over 66% since December 2019, Kotick will get cash rewards dating back to 2017.
Oh dear.
It's just in poor taste, and it's bad timing, I think.
Yeah. So while people are getting sacked all over the shop, because this isn't the first round of like sackings and layoffs they've done.
Yeah.
I mean, over the past year they've done it a few times. Was the one where there were 800 people released at one go or something?
Mm.
And then
probably
200 million. for one bloke.
I think if you'd have told me the first bit, I wouldn't have been overly bothered about it because, yeah, there's not as much need for like doing events on a physical level. So yeah, you don't need them people, and then you would let them
although
go.
I would have thought with a company that has managed to accumulate that, because the amount of monies they've made over the past year or two has been ridiculous, record profits. They could have moved them elsewhere in the company.
Oh, they could have furloughed them until they needed them again.
Yeah, because no doubt hopefully when things go back to normal-ish, live events will happen again. You'll need somebody for these.
Yeah, you'll need a team, a department that you just sacked.
Yeah, if anything, the furlough would have been the best option. But Activision.
Again, I don't know if they can still do furlough at this point. I don't know what the rules are of furloughing over there.
Yeah, it is a shame, but I think they got pretty good payout. 3 months worth of wages, a year's worth of medical insurance, and then obviously the $200 gift card. The cherry on the
best
cake.
Bit, isn't it? It's the best bit.
Yeah. But yeah, that 200 million, it's unwarranted.
It's a bit of a kick in the teeth.
Anybody getting that kind of money, it just boggles the mind.
How would you even spend 200 million?
Mega yachts and houses.
Shark cards.
Ultimate Team, yeah.
Ultimate Team, there we go.
Yeah, that's true.
Fuel my addiction back up.
You'd be able to get that 200 million points.
That's 77,000 is nothing. Drop in ocean.
I'll have my prime Shearer soon.
Okay. Let's move to a bit of PC gaming. So I've heard about the GTA Online mod. He's managed to find a way to speed up the loading times.
Oh yeah, we spoke about this a while ago, didn't we? I feel like.
Did we? Anyway, I'm going to say it. So 7 years after the game's release, it's taken a GTA Online player to fix the game's loading times by up to 70% for PC. Apparently, it was caused by a single-thread CPU bottleneck while starting up GTA Online. I don't know what that means, but...
So they've unlocked more threads, basically, so it loads faster.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah. So apparently, this should have taken a normal dev to actually do within a day. So, but it's just someone at Rockstar just didn't do it. So Rockstar have officially acknowledged it and released a patch with the fix. User Tosta CX, I don't know if I pronounced that right. Apparently, that's the person who done this. Discovered the solution, was awarded $10,000 as part of Rockstar's bug bounty program.
Not bad for a day's work.
No, yeah.
I have to say, when I first heard this, I thought from Rockstar it might have been like 10,000 in-game dollars or something like that. They've been told something.
There you go. You can buy a rubbish bike.
Here's 10 shot cards.
Well, no effect on the console version though. So the thing is, I don't know how fast. Well, I don't know how slow the PC version was.
It was fairly slow. It does.
Was it a lot slower on the console?
Yeah.
I think console's pretty slow. Yeah. I'm gonna say any slower than that, and you probably lose me to something else.
Well, actually, no. Is this loading just a GT Online? If it's loading just a GT, it's not terribly slow on console.
Yeah, I think it's just GT Online. GT Online took a while. It did. But anything to make it faster. It's always good news.
Well, that's good. At least there's something in place now. So good for PC gamers. I just want to mention another fix. So there's been some reports on the Xbox Series X of it randomly powering off. So Microsoft have acknowledged this, and they're working on a fix that's apparently going to be out soon. There's no particular date that they've announced, but I've not experienced it personally, but apparently a few people on Twitter have, and they're working on it. So
what? It's just switching itself off.
Yeah, it would randomly just switch itself off, like when in the middle of a game or anything. It would just randomly do it. It'd switch on straight away afterwards, but it would just randomly switch itself off.
Okay. strange.
You hate to see it.
Mm.
Should we talk about positive? Something positive.
Yeah, I'll go on then.
So, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I like him.
It now has one of the highest completion rates among open world games on PlayStation.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Oh.
So over 50.2% of players have completed the story.
Hmm.
And usually between 30 and 40% complete story in open world games. That's like the standard.
Hmm.
Well, I've got a list here of the top 12 open world games on PS4 based on their story completion rate. So at number 12, we've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which was completed by 19.8% of players.
Oh, that's not a lot.
No. 11, we've got Watch Dogs 2 at 24.9%.
Okay.
10, Red Dead Redemption 2. It's 28.2%.
I can see it because
it's a long story.
Yeah, it's the first section is just very long and.
Well, the epilogue's long.
No, it is, but I remember being excited for the game, getting it, and then starting it, and then
some people took against like the opening bit, which I thought was great, but
no, I liked it, but I got to some point and then I had to stop. Well, it took me like a month to come back to it.
Number 9, Death Stranding, 28.6%.
That's surprising. Because
go on.
I was just going to say, I did start it, but I didn't like it. So I didn't continue. It wasn't for me.
Started it. Yeah. That first section is a bit of a drag to get through.
But I thought that to begin with, that this is surprising. But then I'm also thinking, actually, this is a percentage of the players who bought it. This isn't taking into account how many people actually own the game. That's the thing. So a lot more people will have bought Red Dead 2 compared to Death Stranding, but more people who bought Death Stranding will have completed it. You see what I mean? So number 8 is The Witcher 3. 29.8%.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's quite a long story as well, isn't it?
Very long.
But people that play it do actually really love the game. And there's some people that I know that have completed it multiple times because they enjoyed it that much. So, yeah.
Number 7, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. 30%. Number 6, Horizon Zero Dawn. 34.1%.
I need to go back into it.
Not started it yet. Number 5, Days Gone. 34.7%.
Quite surprised by that, actually.
Number 4, Far Cry 5. 36.7%.
Yeah, I suppose.
Number 3, Assassin's Creed Origins. 38.
They love their Assassin's Creed, don't they?
Well, it's open world games, aren't they? It's pretty much like a quarter of all open world games are Assassin's Creed.
Number 2, as I mentioned, Ghost of Tsushima. 50.2. Number 1 is a percentage of 50.8.
Spider-Man.
Correct. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now, I thought there was a bit of a glaring omission on this list, so I went and had a look at it. And that was God of War.
Oh, yeah.
But then it turns out that's not really considered an open world game.
I wouldn't, I don't know if you'd be able to class that as an open world game.
Yeah.
There is like a hub area, though. But still, the story is
probably not a true
linear.
Hub. But I did look at what the completion rate was anyway. And that's exactly the same as Spider-Man. 50.8.
Oh, 50.8.
Yeah.
So that's... I'm going to class that as a joint first.
Did you ever look at what's the most completed game in PlayStation 4 history?
No. What, in terms of numbers who did it?
Yeah, percentage-wise.
No, of all games, so I don't know. It'd probably be a very short game. Something short that's very popular.
Probably like Journey or something.
Journey? That's a good show.
Journey short.
I don't know if the total number of players would have... Because it is an indie game, isn't it?
Hmm.
Oh, we were talking about like AA, AAA games, sort of thing.
It's going to be something that sells in bucket loads, but is relatively easy to complete. GTA probably.
I reckon GTA would have a surprisingly small amount of percentage completed because I reckon people just go straight for online.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same. I think
Well,
a lot
no.
of people.
Well, online, yeah, but online came 2 weeks after the game released, didn't it? So people had 2 weeks to complete the story.
Yeah, but people that are buying it today, for example, because it's still up there in the sales charts like every single month.
I still think people would have played the story.
I think it would have. Like I completed it twice, once on 360 and then another time on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I did PS3 and PS4.
Although I did PS4 version all in first person once
So
they
did I.
introduced that.
Yeah,
I was like, I've got to try this in first person. I'm gonna see what it's like.
It's pretty good. I liked that.
It's not bad in first person actually. I'll get credit.
I was wondering if I should do that in Red Dead, and I thought
No.
on the horse that might be a bit too difficult.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tripping over everything.
I'm a mainstream. I just complete it once on
You'll
the
be looking
Xbox
behind
One.
you and you just straight into a tree or something all the time.
Yeah. But at least you get that nice view of the branch hitting you in there.
True, you get to see all the flipping. Like you see a character flip
ragdoll.
in the air. That'd be great.
That'd be great in VR, wouldn't it?
Turn around to get
Just
eaten by
jump
an
off a
alligator.
cliff and just like go for it. See what kind of vertical you end up getting.
Any other news?
Has anybody seen the new PSVR controllers?
Ooh.
Yes, I have. Yes.
I think they look great. The orbs.
I quite like them. They're quite similar to the Oculus controllers. They've got that like circular design around the hand. It's pretty kind of cool.
Yeah. So, this is going to come with adaptive triggers, haptic feedback. The hype is real on that, by the way, but I might get to that later.
And you keep talking about switching off. Bye.
And finger touch detection.
Well, just for certain games, all right?
Yeah, just for FIFA.
You'll know once you get PS5. Okay. Right? You'll understand.
No, I know it'll be a great thing. Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, I think personally the orbs look fantastic. And with this, the controls, the orbs are going to be tracked by the headset. So with any luck, there's not going to be any need for a camera to track the movement, which is going to be great.
Hallelujah.
Because if they made this headset wireless in any way, or even with just one wire, and then have these orbs there.
They've already said it's going to be one wire, haven't they?
Is it? All right, I didn't pick up on that.
One wire.
Right, perfect. One wire. The headset tracks the orbs, and that's it. No more. That's all I need.
Please, I really hate the sensor stuff. I don't know. I used my my brother's got is it Oculus or the HTC Vive. I tried his like quite a few years ago, and that tracking is just so much better. There's a lot of wires attached to it, but like being able to just like know where you are in the game and not having like some sort of sense to tell you you can't bend down quite enough to pick up that gun you've accidentally dropped, or you can't quite like reach a certain place because you're kind of just outside the camera's view. It's horrible.
Well, yeah, I think it's definitely a step up from what we had previously with the PSVR. With them like shoehorning the old PS3 Move controllers in and stuff.
That you can barely buy now.
Well, exactly. So expensive.
I've even tried to get one nowadays. It's like £100.
Yeah, I was lucky to get mine.
I'm going to make some people envious here. I picked up 2 of the controllers from the charity shop for £4.
Wow.
One of my best pickups.
Sam, now you get a couple £100.
Yeah, I'm keeping them for my own entertainment. Oh. Yeah, I can't believe how expensive they are.
The thing is, it's sort of made PSVR redundant now. The fact that you can't get them.
I've packed up my PSVR. As soon as I got my PS5, I was like, that's
it. Off you go. Yeah.
That's the thing. I tried VR on a day. It's just that when I first began with Hitman. Which
Yeah.
is like, I can't see me really going back onto it for much.
Hmm.
Although I think it depends what type of games you play. I found that games where you're static are a lot better than ones when you move. I think. I seem to be able to play them for a lot longer.
I could see that, yeah. Where you have to like point, kind of move and stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'm going to come back to my favourite VR game, Job Simulator, where you just stood at one place, just doing all your stuff. I could play that for hours.
Oh, actually, it just got me thinking. We bought that Star Trek game, the Star Trek Bridge Crew one. We've not even cracked into that yet. We've got to at least give it one go. It's still sealed for me.
Yeah, we should give that a go, actually. Well, saying that, Matt's going to
I've
have to get his back out now. That's
PSVR.
the thing.
I'm going to get mine back out. What are you doing? I'll just hope for the next VR it's compatible.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the Xbox mini fridges? They're a thing.
I've seen these.
Yeah.
Sort of. They're kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well,
So,
they created them with the partnership with Dwayne Johnson's like energy drink.
Yeah.
Thing.
So Xbox confirms unique Series X mini fridges, but you can't buy them. Partnership with the Rock's Zoa energy drinks.
That's it.
So the Zoa packages also include a customized Xbox Series X controller with a Zoa design on, a pair of Zoa branded sunglasses, and 6 cans of the Zoa energy drink. Then The Rock put out an Instagram of him showing it off.
Yeah.
So I helped Bill Gates launch the original Xbox years ago, and it's a pleasure to partner with Xbox once again to create the most electrifying and most fun custom kit to power up your gaming skills you've ever seen. Your own Zoa/Xbox fridge that resembles the Xbox console, your own custom Zoa/Xbox controller, your own pair of electrifying glasses, the same ones that I wore on stage with Bill when we originally revealed Xbox to the world. Your own Zoa Xbox coasters, and of course your number one source of gaming energy, cans of Zoa energy. This was so much fun to create with Xbox and can't wait for you to enjoy it as well. Sip your Zoa, now let's go.
All it's missing is a generic pack of Doritos or something.
No, is that a catchphrase? No.
It's
one of the worst.
Unfortunately, there's no indication that the Series X mini fridges will be available for general sale. However, last year, Xbox's marketing boss did poll fans on whether they'd be interested in buying one, with 30,000 users voting that they would. So perhaps the item could yet appear in the future. Yeah, that was an article on Video Games Chronicle.
I just want the big one. I wanted the big fridge.
Yeah, the massive. Yeah, the massive.
That was awesome.
I think it's more likely to have a mini fridge into it. Was the ever winner announced for that fridge competition? Because I never saw it.
I can't remember. It was when at US only or something like that. So.
Well, I think the Joking Dolphin Twitter competition won it, and I've got it in my house now, and I've just not told anybody.
Okay.
I wish.
He's not really got a Series X. That's just the fridge.
Yeah, that's it. That picture's just the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never tried that energy drink. I've never even seen it.
I think
it's probably US only.
I'd never heard of it. So.
I'd never heard of it until they were like, "Yeah, we're doing a partnership with The Rock." What?
An Animal Crossing horror movie. It's got to
Excuse me.
I sort of heard about this. Yeah, sort of.
So a short horror. So this is an article on Video Games Chronicle. It's a short horror movie about a monster trapped inside Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's to be made into a feature-length motion picture. Don't Peek is a short film unaffiliated with Nintendo, which was shot during quarantine by director Julian Terry, and focuses on a woman playing her Switch in bed at night. As she plays Animal Crossing, she realizes that performing actions in her character's bedroom, like opening drawers and turning on lights, makes the same actions happen in her actual room. At first, she's impressed by this, but then she sees a figure with a grotesque face standing in an open doorway in the game. The creature, called Zozo, asks her, "Will you let me out?" She chooses no, and the invisible force opens her bedroom door and appears to crawl under the bedsheets.
Okay.
I've actually watched that. It's on YouTube. It's a bit freaky.
All right.
How long is it?
About 7 minutes long, something like
Let's have a look.
Don't
What's it called again?
Don't Peek.
Hmm.
So, according to Deadline, this short is to be adapted into a feature-length film by Timur Bekmambetov, who previously produced the Unfriended horror movies. Don't know if you've seen them. And directed Night Watch and Day Watch. The trouble is, they're not going to get licensing for Animal Crossing.
No.
No.
It kind of goes against the family-friendly image they've got, just a bit.
It reminds me a little bit of that Nicolas Cage film that came out recently. That's quite, I suppose, inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's. The whole like animatronics kind of come out and are a bit murderous. Yeah. That's pretty much like an unofficial Five Nights at Freddy's film, pretty much. Even though there's one in the works as well.
I think I'll definitely give that a watch. See how freaky it really is.
Yeah, I think I might give it a watch as well. Sounds intriguing. Anyway, as like a concept.
Right, you got any more news?
Nope.
I'll finish off with my any other business then. So Gotham Knights has been delayed to 2022.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Surprising, but
Well,
there you go.
Games get delayed.
Yep. Tiger Woods has signed a long-term deal with 2K Games to give his name and likeness to their PGA Tour games. So he's gone from EA to 2K.
So that's Tiger Woods PGA Tour
Chasing
coming back.
money. Yeah. Now this I think this was announced like probably over a year ago, but I only read this yesterday. I didn't know there was going to be a Super Mario Brothers animated film made by Illumination. You know who did Despicable Me and Minions?
Yeah. I feel
I wasn't aware they was going to make one.
I feel like I've heard that before, but I can't remember.
But they're hoping it'll be scheduled for a theatrical release next year.
Hopefully.
Gamescom, the games event in Germany, will happen this year as a hybrid event consisting of both physical and digital formats. So they're hoping to go back to a live show. But they're going to maintain a digital.
It's around August, isn't it? I think Gamescom, something like that.
I can't remember.
Well, hopefully we can get back to some sort of normality by that point.
Finally, developers of Final Fantasy VII Remake have stated they are going to prioritize Part 2 over more DLC.
That's good.
To be expected about, I think. I remember reading something from a recent interview that they were saying that like a PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake was always kind of in the works. I think this was just something to kind of tie along to it as well. The integrated sort of DLC. But I think they need to focus on Part 2. After that, I think it'd be a bit of a waste to just keep on doing DLC because I don't know how much more you can get out of Midgar.
Right. Do you want to do the BAFTA Game Awards?
Yes.
Go on.
Let us predict.
So this coming Thursday, the 25th of March, BAFTA here in the UK is going to have their Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
So like we did with the Game Awards back in December.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're going to make our predictions.
Ooh. Lovely prediction.
Who wants to kick us off? So how are we doing this? Let's start with animation, then artistic achievement.
Yeah.
We can go from there.
Okay. So animation. So we've got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, The Last of Us Part 2, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Spiritfarer. What we got?
The Last of Us Part 2 for me.
We know where this is going.
This sounds strangely familiar. I've gone for Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I've gone for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Wow.
I don't know why, but
I don't know why, but
artistic achievement. Cyberpunk 2077, Dreams, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life, Alex, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah. I've gone for Hades.
I've gone for Ghost of Tsushima.
All different so far.
Audio achievement. Astro's Playroom, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alex, Last of Us Part 2, and Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I've gone for Ghost of Tsushima.
Wow, that surprised me. I went for Last of Us Part 2.
I've gone for Last of Us as well. Best game. Jumping straight into best game. Okay. Animal Crossing, New Horizons, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alex, Last of Us Part 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2.
I had to change my mind on this one. But...
Oh, has he gone for something else?
No. I changed my mind from Hades to The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay. Best British game. Dreams, F1 2020, Fall Guys, The Last Campfire, Orochi, Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
I've gone for Dreams.
I've gone for Dreams.
I went for Dreams.
Best debut game. Airborne Kingdom, Call of the Sea, Carrion, Factorio, The Falconeer, and Roki. Actually, I don't know anything about any of these.
That's what I was just going to say. I didn't know any of these, so I've just gone for Call of the Sea.
Does that just sound cool?
Yeah.
I've gone for Carrion, but I don't know why. I don't even know what it is.
The only one that I have a vague knowledge on is Factorio, so I went for that.
Okay. Best evolving game. Destiny 2 Beyond Light, Dreams, Fall Guys, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, and Sea of Thieves.
I went for Fortnite.
I've gone for Fortnite.
I've gone for No Man's Sky.
You sound exasperated by that, Mark.
I don't want to vote for Fortnite or anything, to be honest.
Well, you don't have to. No one forced you.
I know, but it's like who
think tactical.
What's likely to win? That's the thing.
But this is why I thought tactical though, because No Man's Sky won the equivalent in Game Awards, so that's why I just kept it.
Best family game. Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Astro's Playroom, Dreams, Fall Guys, Minecraft Dungeons, and Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Animal Crossing all round.
Mm-hmm.
Game design. Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Astro's Playroom, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alex, and Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2.
Hades.
Last of Us Part 2.
You guys need to play different games.
Hey, I did all Hades on last one, but Game Beyond Entertainment. Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Before I Forget, Dreams, Spiritfarer, Last of Us Part 2, and Tell Me Why.
Last of Us Part 2.
I've gone for Tell Me Why.
I went for Tell Me Why as well.
Best multiplayer. Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Deep Rock Galactic, Fall Guys, Ghost of Tsushima, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and Valorant.
I've gone for Animal Crossing.
I went for Valorant.
All different here.
What did you go for, Matt, sir?
Fall Guys. Music. Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Last of Us Part 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I know there's a bigger mission here, Matt, that you don't like.
I don't understand.
There's no
why
Final Fantasy.
In fact, that was the winner of the game.
That was the winner of the music one last time. So how it's been, I don't know how Sackboy is going, but
anyway, what are you picking from this one?
I've gone from Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I've gone for The Last of Us Part 2.
And I've gone for Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, not different.
Narrative. Now, there's a glaring omission in this one, surely.
No, I don't see what you're talking about.
So, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Cyberpunk 2077, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Kentucky Route Zero TV edition, and Spider-Man Miles Morales.
It sounds like one of them 99p games you got on the Wii. Kentucky Route Zero TV edition.
I'm staggered The Last of Us is not in that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's probably going to get enough, but yeah, it needs to be in there.
Probably why I got omitted. Like, right, you're voting for way too much stuff. You can leave this one.
I've gone for Ghost of Tsushima with this one.
So
I've gone for Cyberpunk 2077.
Ooh.
what?
Only because, I mean, I've heard the story is very good, and once you kind of peer through the bugs and stuff, it does actually have a pretty good story. So I thought if Cyberpunk was to win any, it might be this one. So
I'm still staggered The Last of Us is not in that. I just can't fathom that. Original property. Carrion, Fall Guys, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Kentucky Route Zero TV edition, and Spirit Roller.
I've gone for Hades.
I've gone for Hades.
got for Hades.
Performer in a leading role. So Ashley Johnson is Elliot in The Last of Us Part 2. Karami Lay, I don't know if I pronounced that right. Female V in Cyberpunk 2077. Cody Christian as Cloud Strife in Final Fantasy VII Remake. And Daisuke Tsuji as Jin Sakai Ghost of Tsushima. Laura Bailey as Abby in Last of Us Part 2. And Naj Jeter as Miles Morales in Spider-Man's Miles Morales. Laura Bailey. That's what I've gone with.
I've gone with Ashley Johnson on this one.
Gone for Laura Bailey again.
Performer in a supporting role. Carla Tassara as Judy Alvarez in Cyberpunk 2077. Jeffrey Pierce as Tommy in Last of Us Part 2. Logan Cunningham, Hades, Achilles, Poseidon, Asterius, Jaron, and the Storyteller in Hades. Patrick Gallagher as Kotan Khan in Ghost of Tsushima. Shannon Woodward as Dina in Last of Us Part 2. And Troy Baker as Joel in Last of Us Part 2.
Let me just say something. How the hell has Tommy managed to wriggle his way into this list? He weren't even in the game.
He is.
Well,
Just came back all, he came back all crippled and angry.
If there's anyone that
it's a supporting role, isn't it?
If there's anyone that I thought was weird,
supporting.
If there's anyone that I thought was weird in this was actually Troy Baker, because I'm like, the man does something in the game.
Well, do you know what, Matt?
That
I've
makes him
gone for
not
Troy
appear
Baker,
so much.
so there. He's better than Tommy. The best bro.
I would say out of those three, if I was to pick out of The Last of Us Part 2, I would have gone for Shannon Woodward. But that's not my actual pick.
Of those three, yeah.
Of those three, I would have picked her, but it's not my actual choice.
So what is your choice?
My choice is Logan Cunningham.
That was my choice as well.
It is pretty good, to be fair.
What have you chosen, Nathan?
Troy Baker.
He wants the Ashley Johnson, Troy Baker chip on the on the digital screen.
No.
Technical achievement. Demon Souls, Doom Eternal, Dreams, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Last of Us Part 2, and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Flight Simulator.
I've gone for Flight Simulator.
I've gone for Flight Simulator as well.
It just looks
just because how the hell do you render the entire Earth in one game? Seamlessly.
Finally, go with EA Game or EA. No, EA Game of the Year.
EA Game of the Year.
I don't want EA Game of the Year.
I've not copied it. I've not copied this one. Is this the last one?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So
okay. I'll do it on the fly.
This is like the.
I can just read them out and you just choose.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Call of Duty Warzone, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Last of Us Part 2, and Valorant. We all know what you're going to go through now.
Me?
Yeah.
It's the same one I've chosen anyway, so.
To be honest, I can't even remember off from now.
Just say The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, just... I've gone for Last of Us Part 2.
Right, I'm going for Call of Duty.
Call of Duty Warzone.
No, I'm joking.
No, I won't be a bad shout.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Honestly, I don't think it would be a bad shout saying Call of Duty. I've not gone for Call of Duty. I've flipped it a little bit and gone for Hades.
But if you want any self-respect, don't go for World.
Self-respect.
I never had any.
Thing is, I don't understand why it's not a multiplayer if it's suddenly EE Game of the Year. You'd think Call of Duty multiplayer.
Well, this is someone who's admitted Last of Us with narrative, so you know.
True. This is the fan voted one, so it might be a bit. I could see Call of Duty win, but I've gone for Hades.
So no, if this is fan voted, Last of Us might come up short.
Yeah, that's why I've already voted for Hades.
Anyway, I'm going Last of Us.
I'm voting for my winner.
What did you choose, then?
Me?
Last of Us.
Yeah.
The Last of Us.
Yeah. And there we go. That's our predictions.
Cool.
See how they go on the next pod. What does the winner get?
Mark will probably win.
The winner gets.
I don't know, because mine was very last minute.
The winner gets to choose the next Hall of Fame, regardless of what game it is.
Right, Nif, better get solid going, don't you?
Already completed it.
Completely, mate.
Oh.
No, I've not really. I'm joking. I've not even touched it.
Right, shall we move on to what we're currently playing?
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Who wants to kick us off?
You.
Me.
You.
Well, I said who wants to. I didn't say me. Right, okay. So, I finally completed Hitman 3. Now,
Hey.
you know how much I love this game. I've talked about it numerous times, but I thought I purposely stopped talking about it because I wanted to reach the end of it and get my whole view of the whole thing.
Mm.
So I've completed all three of them now to complete mastery, every single level.
Mm.
And I just wanted to reminisce, really, about the whole Hitman series, really. Because I remember the very first Hitman game I ever played was Hitman 2 Stealth Assassin, which I remember playing on the PS2. Now, the very first Hitman game was called Hitman Codename 47, and that was only came out on the PC, so I didn't play that one. But I remember specifically getting Hitman 2 Stealth Assassin. In fact, I think it was my brother's copy. And I remember playing that on the PS2 in 2002, I think it was. And I just remember it just being so different from any other game I'd played up to that point. Because I probably wasn't really supposed to play it at that time. I'm maybe quite young for that. I just remember the different ways you could approach the game. Cause I remember the first level in it very vividly. It's like there's this villa in the middle of a field, and you've got to infiltrate this villa, and you like steal this delivery guy's costume, and you hide your gun in his crate, and then you just walk past the security guards, and then you get upstairs and this guy playing his cello, the target, and then you just end up strangling him with like strings of the cello or something like that.
Right.
It's pretty good. Ever since then, I've kind of been hooked on Hitman, because then they had Hitman Contracts, which also came out on PS2, which was very good itself, and then the big one for me was Hitman Blood Money. That was such an astonishing great game. I loved that. It was one of those games where every single level on it was just top notch. It was really, of that generation, it was one of my absolute favourite games on the PS2. But then, on the PS3, they came out with Hitman Absolution. And Hitman Absolution it was a disappointment, to be quite honest.
Is it like the Sonic 06 of the Hitman series?
Yeah, you could probably call it that. It like took it away from everything that was so great about the Hitman. It was very linear in terms of its style. Like Hitman's like this open sandbox, and you have multiple effects. Whereas this kind of funneled you into doing things in a certain way, and it kind of did not feel like it felt more like. Do you know there was 2 Hitman films, wasn't there? And obviously they try and make an approach to a broader appeal, a broader appeal to more people by making them more action oriented and that kind of thing. It's kind of what they ended up doing with the game, which really annoyed me. And so a lot of it was just too straightforward and linear and just not interested in crap. So I thought, right, is this pretty much the death of Hitman? Really, where do they go from here?
Mm.
And in 2016, they came out with this reboot on the PS4. Now I've mentioned this before, so they came out episodically. So they only initially released one level, and I was just blown away by the amount of detail they applied into that one level, of all the ways you could approach it, and how many hours I spent just on that one level was astonishing. I don't think I've ever spent that many hours on one level of any game ever, because there was just so much to do on it and so many ways to approach it. And then I thought, well, is this going to be like, oh, they'll release this first level, which is great, and then subsequently they'll diminish in quality or things like that. Maybe they put all the eggs in one basket with the first level. But then the second level came out, which was set in Sapienza, and it was just, well, a fictional town in Italy. It was just like, they did it again. I'm like, right, we're really onto something quite special here. So then, obviously, I finished that game, loved it to bits, and then, I don't know if you remember hearing about this, but there was a big bust-up between IO Interactive and Square Enix. Because Square Enix was the publisher of IO Interactive. And then it was like, oh, does this mean they're not going to make another game? Because they always planned that originally this was going to be a trilogy. And then after this first game, is it just going to not happen? Because obviously Square Enix owned the rights to Hitman, and then IO had to go off and be independent. And then thankfully, about a couple of months afterwards, they acquired the rights to Hitman, so they were able to carry on with this trilogy.
Yeah.
And Hitman 2 came along. They changed some of the mechanics from the first game. And quite annoyingly, they ended up changing, as I say, some of the mechanics in the actual game. So it meant that the progress from the first game didn't transfer into the second one. So if you acquired items in the first one, you would have to replay it in the second game if you own both versions. Because as I've said before, you can play all three games in one game now, if you own them.
Yeah.
But you had to replay all the first ones again in the legacy versions in order to acquire all your items again, which was annoying. But because I love the game so much, I was quite happy to. I didn't mind doing that. So I did all the mastery again. And finally, we've come to Hitman 3. Now, the third one, they've managed to... there's a story arc that crosses all three games. But they integrate the story a lot more into the actual levels in this one.
Yeah.
And it's done so incredibly well. And there's a lot of fan service, I have to say, in this one, for the people in this one. Now, Hitman has been very special. It's one of my favourite series of all time. And this trilogy now seems like it's the pinnacle of it all. And this whole story has a definitive beginning, middle, and end. And I'm quite sad that I think this might be the last Hitman game we see. Because I don't see where they can go from this. Because obviously they're moving on to the James Bond games next time. Well, the James Bond game. And it's just everything that was so great about Hitman in my youth. They managed to escalate it so much in these new ones to anything beyond anything I could imagine. I can't describe it. I actually felt quite emotional when I finished the game. It seemed to hit me quite a lot, and I don't know why, because it's not like an emotional game or anything like that. But I think it's just, I can't believe that whenever I've played the Hitman games, it seems like any of my friends never played them or never had any interest in them, or they tried them and never really got into them or anything like that. So they always kind of felt like they were my games. Like I was the only one who ever discussed them or spoke about them or anything like that. So when I reached the end of this one, I thought, this is for me. It feels like this trilogy is for me. Now I know there's plenty of other Hitman players out there. Of course there is. But I'm just staggered as the level of detail and quality they managed to do this whole, and it never let up. I mean, there's a few levels that are not as good as others, but in general, they're all really quite astonishing. And obviously, they've added the VR stuff, which is good, I suppose. But it's, as I mentioned earlier, it's one of these where it's VR where you're moving about, and I can't really play many of them for too long. But I've spoken about the VR stuff earlier. But anyway, I just wanted that's my experience of Hitman. I was quite slightly emotional when I finished it, and I'm sad that there might not be another one. I can't see because of the story. I don't see how they move on to another one now.
I mean, there's always ways they can write themselves out of anything.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but yeah, that's all I've got to say on that. But let's move on to something completely different. So we had this Bethesda acquisition stuff, and I played Doom, the reboot.
Oh well.
This is a mental and crazy game. Have you both played it?
I've not played it. No, I never really got into the Doom series.
This was bonkers. It's a bonkers game. I have to say.
Yeah. I've gotten a few levels in. I've not completed it, but
just the absolute frenetic nature of it.
Yeah.
So basically,
it's absolutely fast paced.
Yeah. So you're this Doom guy bloke running around Mars and whatever. To be honest, I didn't really follow the storyline or anything like that because it was just mental. So you're just running around shooting demons who are just everywhere. Now, initially, you might think, oh, it's quite a scary game. If you look at the surface of it, it does look quite scary. All these monsters and all that. But because it's such a fast-paced, frenetic, mind-blowing, it's just bang, 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 boom, 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 boom. That's basically the whole game, constantly. It's not scary at all. It's just madness. Absolute madness. You're just jumping around, and just the variety of guns and like the mods you can apply to the guns. The great thing is, it's just like you are constantly just spouting out ammo of every single gun you've got. It's like bang, 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 and then it'll just immediately switch to like the plasma gun, and then it'll switch to your shotgun, and then your rocket launcher. And it doesn't like do like it kind of like seems random at what it changes to. So you'll just be shooting your pellet gun, and then suddenly you just start firing rockets. And I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to fire a rocket, but fair enough. Let's just do this. And it's crazy. And then you pick up the BFG gun. If anybody knows anything about Doom, it's the BFG. It's the Doom gun.
Yep.
And the cool bit is in the game is just like you pick up the gun, and then you walk into this next room, and there's like 15 or so imps. So they're like the lowest form of demon, just standing there in a room, and it's basically the game just going, you know that thing you just picked up. Just give it a shot. So you
just give it a test fire.
Yeah. So you just like I couldn't resist. So there's just suddenly just this blinding light, and everything just evaporates. It's just like, and I was just like slightly jaw for about 10 seconds. Just like, oh, okay. But yeah, that is a really good game. Really good. A lot longer than I thought, though. Quite a long game. I think about 11 hours, something like that. But I want to go and play the second one now. I want to play Doom Eternal. So I'm going to do that. Not a big fan of the boss fights in that game. Though. There's like 3 boss fights.
Okay.
Although surprisingly, the final one is the easiest one. Which is
you fully kick out at that point. So.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yes. But one of the things is the first 2 bosses, they have like 2 stages. And I hate boss fights that have that. I hate boss fights with more than 1 stage.
Oh,
if you've got a health bar at the top, and if I deplete that bar, that's it. Game over. Not suddenly you have another one turn up. No. That's just not cricket. But anyway, completed that. There's one final game. I thought after all that craziness and mental stuff, I needed something relaxing. And this is a game I've wanted to play for a long, long time. and that's Untitled Goose Game.
Oh.
So if you don't know what this is, this is you play a goose, and basically you just go into an English village and cause havoc to the locals. That's pretty much what it is. And you have to. What I love about this game is just the inherent Britishness of it. It's like, I don't think you can get any more British game. It's like one of the tasks, so you have to do a series of tasks, which is mainly just annoying the locals. And one of the tasks is make the old man fall on his bum. It's just like
on his
bum. It's like you can't get more British than that, can you?
No.
Just such a charming, lovely, lovely game.
Oh.
I just wish it was longer. I completed it in under 2 hours. But I did notice there was like this is like extras at the end of the game. I don't know whether they were added on later. Or like extra tasks added on. But, and I like the music in it. Just that plinky plonky piano that plays when people come close to you and all that kind of thing. It's kind of like all based on what you do. Just a lovely game. I just want more of it. But then they introduced the 2-player, didn't they?
Yeah, there's a co-op in it. Yeah.
But that's only local, isn't it? So.
Oh, is it? That's a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But just a lovely, lovely game.
Oh, very nice.
Go on then, Matt. What's yours?
Oh, myself. So, as we'd kind of discussed earlier in the podcast, we've all kind of found ourselves in the next gen, finally.
Oh yeah, just before you start, if you're wondering why I've not mentioned anything on the next gen, it's because I've started a game, but I don't really want to talk about it because I've not got far into it yet. So, and I had enough to talk about as it was. Sorry, good carry on.
Fair enough. Yeah. So, so we've all kind of gone into current gen now. So, the first game that I tried on a PlayStation 5 was Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Call me shocked.
Call you shocked. Well, I could have said Call of Duty.
Well, yeah. Oh, I guess you could.
So, was that the real one?
It went. Funny enough, I've tried a very small amount of Call of Duty just to kind of compare how it feels from like previous gen.
Very small.
20
hours later.
20 hours, yeah. It's not a massive upgrade, to be fair, for Call of Duty. Things load faster, things look a little sharper. You got your.
Is it taking up the whole hard drive?
Wow. I suppose there's that about 300 gigs worth.
You've not got both versions downloaded to it, have you?
No, not both versions. I've only got the PS5 version of Cold War, but I do have Warzone installed, which itself is about 100 gigs, so that's fun. I think I might just uninstall it. I don't know if I'll ever really go back to Warzone. I don't know. It's just not my. I mean, Call of Duty is my thing, but like Warzone's like something different. It's just like it's too stressful having to walk around not wondering when you're gonna get shot. But anyway, so back to Spider-Man. So I've actually tried this in 2 ways. So you know how in this one there's like 2 different kind of graphic performance modes. So there's one where you kind of get the whole kind of shebang, the whole graphics, ray tracing, all sorts of graphical effects and whatnot. And then there's like a performance one where it's slightly downgraded, but you play in full 60 frames per second mode. So I tried the 60 frames per second first, and it's strangely more enjoyable to play games that way because then it's just much faster and feels smoother to play. Especially when you like come across the fighting sections when you find a lot at once, everything's really fast. So it's quite challenging sometimes having to realize that you're playing much quicker than what you think you need to be playing at. But once you get caught to it, it's really nice, really beautiful game still. I love the character of Miles in this one. I think they've done him really well. I'd say he might be on par, maybe just a little less than the Into the Spider-Verse version, which is like a massive favorite film of mine anyway. So, but no, I've gone through and I've completed it. It's not as long as the original Marvel Spider-Man. I think that's about 15, 20 hours, while this is only about 8 to 12. But they've still got a lot in there, like a lot of stuff that you do. Side missions feel more kind of linked to the character and to like the kind of the soul of Harlem from where Miles is from. Like a lot of the story is kind of based around Harlem, like the neighborhood and that kind of connection with Miles, which is cool. And yeah, the story is pretty good. Probably not as on par emotionally as what it was for Peter Parker and Octavius, but it's still a pretty good story. And I mean the web swinging again is just fantastic in that game. I love that Miles has got kind of his own unique animations while swinging. So like sometimes he'd be swinging backwards, sometimes he's just like flailing his arms around because he's still kind of getting used to it, which is quite cool. It's a nice little like personality that they've had to Miles. But yeah, it's a wonderful game. I'm just going for platinum now. I'm like one trophy away from platinum, so getting close. Outside of that, I've tried a game called Man Eater.
Oh yeah.
Which was, I believe it was like one of the first PS Plus games for PS5.
Yeah.
So I've given that a go for a couple hours. It's actually quite nice to be able to actually swim through the water as a shark. Like control wise, they've done a quite good job of making you feel like an actual shark, and then eventually as you kind of become like the baby shark, they made it like the
not that baby shark.
not a baby shark. Don't start that. Be able to control the baby sharks quite nice as well, and showing like how dangerous the sea life is while you're kind of a baby. So you can't just full on attack like a whale or something. You're just gonna get slapped around. But that's been pretty cool. Getting to grips with that. I've not played too much into it, but definitely a game I'd like to get back into. And then kind of going back to a PS4 game that I've stopped a lot of times, but I think this time I've been like my longest stint of actually trying to complete it. Was Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which is probably like boggled Mark's mind.
I was about to say bless you, but
yeah, bless you too. So I've gone through quite a lot of that. I'm starting to enjoy it again, like the combats. It's not as complex as like normal Dragon Ball Z fighting games are. Outside of probably Dragon Ball Fighter Z, that seems to be quite simple to get into but hard to master kind of fighting game. But
yeah, that's more of like classic style 2D, 2.5D fighting game, isn't it? So.
Yeah. But yeah, Kakarot's fighting is quite simple, and it's actually kind of a bit relaxing, but there's still a little bit of challenge to it. But just going through, having like an open world kind of, well, almost open world, like they're split into their own kind of little stages. But being able to kind of explore and just fly around, quite fun to do. Picking up orbs as well, upgrading characters. I think I'm currently on the Cell Saga. So I've just got to the point where you're in kind of like the 9 days before you end up having to like join the Cell world.
Cell games.
Cell games, yeah. So just getting through that bit, there's quite a bit of filler stuff in there, but it's normal anime stuff when it comes to filler. The only two other games that one that I've gone back into because I wanted to try it, see what it was like on PS5, is Fortnite. Which has just made Mark's head explode. It's surprisingly quite nice to play on PS5 actually. Like things loading faster, things feel a lot more smoother to play and stuff. Finally won solo games somehow after so many years of trying. Not very gracefully. I don't really build that much. I'm not a good builder, but I'm not too bad of a sharpshooter. So I can, if you get into my line of sight, I will kill you. Just don't build in front of me, otherwise I don't know what you do.
We know your weakness now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You just give it away.
Yeah, well, not many people listen to this, so hopefully I won't give them too much away. But other than that, the one other game that I gave a little go, which was free to play, is called Vega. So it's a bit of like a third-person survival game where you kind of got your hub little things called shelter, and you go into separate game modes to collect like salvage and stuff. While there's roughly about 14 other people kind of within this little map, where you're all kind of getting salvage to bring to your shelter to like upgrade and stuff. But if you get killed like within this game, you lose kind of all your stuff and you just come back empty-handed, and so you have to like go back in again and start collecting stuff. It was okay when I was playing it, but it's something that I don't think I'll be playing much of. Like it reminded me of like a very kind of stripped down DayZ, with like an added kind of battle royale aspect to it. But it was all right. But I don't think I was paying too much attention afterwards. Well, not afterwards, after this really. So, but it's not bad for a free game if other people want to try it. So that's pretty much what I've been playing. So, what about you, Nathan?
Yeah, so over the last couple of weeks, I've been lucky enough to get my hands on a Series X and a PS5. Just want to give a shout out to Lisa. She was on annual leave last week, and for pretty much 48 hours, she was there just trying to get through to websites to get me a console. So thank you for that, my dear.
Don't even work for his consoles.
Yeah, it's the wife to do it.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Anyway, so I got the Series X first, and when I got that, I decided to treat myself to a new game for it. One that's been critically panned because of the bugs, and it is Cyberpunk 2077. So far,
you weren't going to wait for the proper next gen upgrade.
No, so far I don't think I need to. It's been pretty much fine. A couple of characters have walked through doors, like literally through doors.
Yeah, but that's fine.
But yeah, apart from that.
Okay.
So yeah, there's when you start the game, you get a choice between 3 options for where you want to start. I think you were more of like a kind of an outsider, weren't you, Mark? So you start like at the borders.
Yeah. I went to the Nomad one.
Yeah. I chose the corporate life on my. So I did that like.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very on brand.
Yeah. So yeah, I chose that path. I have nipples, because you can choose whether you have nipples or not.
Okay.
You can also choose other things, but it's not safe for podcasts to talk about that. But yeah, I really enjoy putting my characters together. There's so much you can do with it. I was probably there for probably not as long as most people, but for a good 20 minutes, just having a little play around, seeing what worked. So yeah, that was fun. But yeah, I've got into it, and I'm actually quite enjoying it so far for what it is. I think the world's fairly interesting with its futuristic style. There's advertisements everywhere. The world does feel quite lived in because you can approach nearly anybody in the game and like have some sort of a conversation with them, which is nice. And it's just a really good RPG so far. I mean, to be honest, in terms of the RPG elements, no matter what you select, it's going to go one way. So some of the bits are like optional so you can try and get some more information, but the main conversation piece is always going to go one way.
Yeah. You're always going down one route.
Yeah. But yeah, your character as you play through the game has like artificial enhancements and things, and there's like skill trees, so that you can change. You can pick up loads of stuff and fight people. There's so many weapons as well to try and get to grips with. I'm not too far into it. I've only played a couple 2 to 3 hours so far, but I'm enjoying the story. And it's if you've got a Series X or even a PS5, I'd probably say to buy it because so far I know I've not played much of it, but I've not experienced anything that would ruin the game as such for me. Just the funny bit where somebody walked through a door, and that was pretty good. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, and then I think I'll definitely end up completing it in the near future. But yeah, it's good. Another game I've been playing, well, that I completed. This was on the PS5. So when you load your PS5, it gets pre-installed with a game called Astro's Playroom. So this is like the showpiece game to tell you basically about the new DualSense controller and what it's all about. So I won't get too much into this game because I'm sure you'll both want to play it eventually. But I'll just give like a brief overview. So there's 4 main levels and like 1 bonus level at the end. But what's good about the 4 main levels is there's 1 level for each PlayStation from the past. So you'll have 1 level for the PS1, and as you go through, as you go off the beaten track, you'll find like artifacts. So, for example, on the PS2 one, you'll go off somewhere and you'll find an artifact for the iToy, and it's just like going through memory lane, finding all these little artifacts and things, and trying to get them all. And then once you've completed a level, it takes you back to like the hub world, and you can see all like the little bots like playing with the PlayStations and stuff that you've managed to collect, and all the little peripherals. So it's just a really fun little platform, and it's scattered with so many things. So, for example, you'll find like the big sword off Final Fantasy VII. You'll find some Crash Bandicoot stuff. Just like there's just so many like love letters to what Sony have done from the PS1 to the PS4, and then it includes some stuff like to introduce you to the PS5 as well. But I think it's just such a great way of introducing you to the DualSense controller and what it can do. Because it just uses everything for that controller so well. I mean, for example, when you're walking around, you can feel every single step in the controller, and you can even feel when you walk from like solid ground to glass, there's a difference. And it's just, you wouldn't think it was, on the face of it, you'd think, oh, this is rubbish, it's not going to really create much immersion, but it does, and it's absolutely incredible. So yeah, I can't wait for you both to play that, because it's just, honestly, it's one of my favorite platformers. I just enjoyed it so much. I'm just upset that it's only an hour and a half to 2 hours long in total, but it's just a really good showcase to what the new controller can do. So yeah, it's great. Other than that, just like Matt, I've been playing a bit of Fortnite. So sorry, Mark, as he rolls his eyes. So yeah, I've been playing some duos with my wife. She's been carrying the matches, to be honest. I think the only reason she's been playing with me is because I'm such a low level that she gets into lobbies with like bots and low level players, so we can win a few more.
I'm pretty sure that's why I won some of my solos, to be fair.
So yeah, we've won a couple of duo games, which was fun. I managed to get a couple of kills and assists in there, so yeah, I'm getting a bit better. And been playing a few team games with her and her friends. So yeah, it's good. Come on, Mark, get on the hype train. You know you want to.
Get on that Fortnite train.
And then other than that, again, like Matt, stealing all my games. I've been playing a bit of
I got
Maneater.
PS5 first.
True. I'm stealing your games then. So yeah, playing a bit of Maneater. Yeah, it's well, it's an emotional start, and then you go into like the Everglades as like a little baby shark. Again, not that baby shark. And it's I think to echo what Matt said, it's just nice to go around and like. Well, it's not nice to eat turtles and stuff because I like turtles, but food at the end of the day.
I like turtles.
Oh, yeah,
Turtles.
And yeah, there is stuff in there that's like a lot bigger than you are that you've got to try and get around or run away from, like alligators. I'm not big enough to tangle with them just yet, but
No.
when I am, they are getting chomped. Sick of them. But yeah, I think I've only played about an hour of that myself. But yeah, looking forward to getting back onto that because it is a really fun game. Like near the beginning, you're a full size bull shark and just like jumping out of the water and pretty much just jumping onto somebody's jet ski and eating them. It's just absolutely insane.
That was pretty cool.
But yeah, it's a really fun game, and again, one that you can get for free. So yeah, I'd implore anyone to play it if they've added it to the library. And give it a go because it's just a fun game. And I think that's about it from me, to be honest. I mean, I've spent quite a bit of time trying to get to grips with the new consoles. In terms of the Series X to the Xbox One X, there's not too much change in terms of UI, so it's all pretty new. It's all pretty similar for me.
Yeah, this is what I was going to mention. It's just like when you switch them on, even the sound from turning them on sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
The UI comes on, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
If you weren't looking at the actual boxes themselves, you wouldn't know.
No. The only difference that I've seen, like in terms of the UI, is that it's a lot quicker. But you don't pay 450 quid for just a bit quicker.
Well, I mean,
I feel.
Sorry, go on.
Go on. I was just going to say I feel a little bit shortchanged by it. I mean, I really enjoyed like the setup process because I think that was really intuitive.
Yeah, that is easy. Yeah, the setup is really easy. Yeah.
Go on. What you say, Matt?
Oh, what was I think with Microsoft though is they want to keep everything like that same ecosystem, don't they? So you want to make things feel familiar, so it's not quite daunting.
It's just bad. I just don't like that tile system to begin with.
The tile system, yeah.
Like I don't like it on the PCs. So.
Yeah, I think the transfer from PS4 to PS5 was quite easy and simple to do. Be able to transfer like Madeira and stuff.
Yeah.
Although still needing to have like the PS4 switched on.
Yeah.
While doing it was probably a bit. Like I already want to pack away the PS4. Why are you making me keep it?
How did you do it? Did you do it over the Wi-Fi or did you use a LAN cable to connect them?
I did Wi-Fi.
Well, how long does that take?
Depends how much data you've got on your PlayStation.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, not
what sort of data are we talking
about? So it's like saved game data and
saves profiles in the games themselves. Yeah.
I don't think the games themselves. I didn't have to transfer games over. I had to install everything.
Oh, it gave me the option of transferring games. I went down a list and ticked the ones that I wanted to transfer.
Okay, it might be because I already I mean, one negative that I can say about the PS5 is that when I did my switch over, I put all my games onto my external hard drive. So it's like, I'll just run off, everything off there. So then, it didn't close the PS5's hard drive. And for a couple of days, it was working fine. Until one morning I woke up and for some reason I couldn't turn my PS5 on. And I was wondering what's going on, what's happening, why is it not switching on. Unplugged my internal hard drive, my external, keep saying internal, and suddenly it was working. But I then had a dead external hard drive, which was about 4 terabytes. And there's no way of reviving it, apparently. only being able to recover the data, which is just installed games. There's no point really getting that back.
So, public service announcement, don't do
that. Maybe format the hard drive first might have been an idea, rather than thinking I can go over to PS4 to PS5 quite easily, which apparently should do. But there's my experience. There's my first negative.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of the PlayStation UI, I do think it's quite nice and clean. There's a few things that I've had trouble with, like, for example, last night when I were having trouble getting just the chat to go through the headset rather than the gameplay. But I think I've just about sussed that now. But it's just different. I mean, normally when you click the PlayStation button, you expect to like go back to the home screen and stuff, but it just pops up like as like a little drawer at the bottom. So it's just there's just a bit more to get used to, I think. And there's still no folders yet, which I know it's important to you two to put games into certain folders, so you know where everything is.
I want everything organised.
Yeah.
Why? That's not a beginning thing. I don't know. That's strange to me.
It's a bit odd.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm sure
Well,
like
I don't
over
have a
the
console
next...
yet anyway, so
you don't have to worry about it just yet.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it just yet.
But yeah, I'm sure like in the coming weeks and months as we start to get to grips with these consoles and learn more, then it'll just be second nature again.
Fingers crossed.
Right. So we move on to the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Video Game Hall of Fame.
The Hofmeister.
Yeah. So this is where I take an in-depth look at a game of high quality or historical importance and induct it into our pantheon of games we feel deserve special recognition. Our inductee this episode was released in 1991 for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. Developed and published by Electronic Arts, it's Road Rash. So back when we trusted EA, it actually came out with a good game. Actually, they used to produce quite a few good games, but that was a long time ago. Actually, I couldn't believe this is 30 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Really?
It's 1991.
A lot of anniversaries this year.
That's insane.
So, what is Road Rash? Okay, so Road Rash is basically a motorcycle racer where basically you have to win by any means necessary, usually involving battering the other
punching,
riders.
Kicking, clubbing people. Yeah, so about Road Rash, I love the back of the box. The little bit of text always makes me laugh. It says, kick, punch, and club your opponents off the road at 150 miles an hour. Ooh, action.
Do you really reach those speeds in that game?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so.
That fast?
Looking at this speedo, I think he only goes to 140.
Oh, well, that's...
false advertisement.
Exactly. Where's my 10 miles?
Where's my 10 miles?
What? Yeah. What was your most hated obstacle in the game? I always hated the cows. Just got in the way.
Just everything, really. Didn't like anything.
Didn't like anything.
Probably
oil slicks were pretty bad.
Yeah, probably as was they like I don't know if there were logs or whatnot, but there was stuff in there that like sent me flying up in the air. I always hated that because I couldn't control myself as I came back down, so it was just went off and like hit a tree. Deers, yes, deers were hilarious. I always seem to as well. I don't know about you guys. I always seem to fall off right as I've kind of gone past the police officer. I never like fall off before. I never like get a pretty good distance away and do it. It's always like literally I've just passed him and then I've fallen off and he's like, "Oh well, we have to arrest you now."
It's because you're rubbernecking, aren't you? You're like,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Like... I'll just turn around. Hey, I'm one officer, and then
straight into a tree.
Yeah, I was like
Officer O'Rourke. That was his name, wasn't it? I think.
Right.
Sure. Because in the bottom, it would always for like the rider that you come up against. He always told you in the bottom right who it was.
Oh yeah.
And every time you came to the cop, it was always O'Rourke. Like he really had it in for you.
Like looking at the back of this box, there was some lookers who you raced against. I mean, look at them.
Some lookers.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. For the benefit of the podcast, Nathan had held up the back of the case to show there's 3 characters that are in the game.
Yeah. Got Danny Zuko on the left-hand side.
Danny Zuko.
Got Grud. Oh, what a name. And Sid as well.
Sid.
But yeah, just about Road Rash. This was one of the games that actually made me want to get a Mega Drive. So I might have mentioned this story previously in other podcasts, but in the late 90s, we used to go around to our friend's house and they had a Mega Drive. And by this time, we'd already had a PlayStation, but they just had the Mega Drive and a load of games. And we always used to play Sonic and Road Rash on their Mega Drive. And like once I played them 2 games, I was like, right, I'm hooked. Mum, Dad, you've got to get me a Mega Drive. I don't care about the PlayStation anymore. I just want a Mega Drive. I want that 16-bit high definition graphics with those grungy sounds that I can't get on disc. But yeah, I just loved like kicking the crap out of people off the bike, punching, kicking, clubbing people. Oh, it was great. It's like nothing I'd ever played before at the time.
And that's what you want from every game, isn't it?
Exactly.
Well, pretty much, yeah.
It's what Mario 64 were missing. Bit of clubbing.
All
18.
Yeah, I mean, it was just such an action-packed game. Like at the time when I was younger and I was first playing it, I was probably 6 or 7 years old. So this was like 98, 99. I wasn't very good at it. I mean, the oil slicks always used to trip me up. The cows were absolutely infamous. And but once I got next to you, there were no stopping me. Kick, kick, kick. Off you go. Next.
Get off your back.
That's interesting. You played it like 8 years after it came out.
Still enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. Some things don't lose their appeal.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think it still holds up today, personally. It's like you can still have a good go on it, and it's still fun.
Did you see the spiritual successor that came out to it? Was it Road Redemption?
Road Redemption, yeah.
The
one that's on PS4.
Was it PS4 or was it PC? I don't know.
It's both.
It might be both. Yeah. Never played it, but I didn't see particularly glowing reviews about it. But don't know if either of you tried it.
I had a quick go on it. I think it lacks something that Road Rash had. I don't know what it is, other than 16-bit graphics, and very repeatable music. Because I watched a video on it recently, and sort of like a Let's Play kind of thing, and the music's terribly kind of just one beat all the time. Kind of has the same. I was expecting like really kind of heavy rock kind of soundtrack, but it's kind of very light, surprisingly. But to go back to Road Redemption, yeah, it's I don't know, it doesn't capture what made Road Rash just such a fun little game. I don't know. Maybe I could give it another go at some point.
So basically, the structure of the game was you were doing racing in California, weren't you? That was the whole thing. The whole thing was set in California, and there's 5 areas. And you had 5 levels in each area. But it actually looked like the 5 levels in each area did look all the same in each area.
Yeah, you kind of had your grasslands,
desert.
Desert.
Yeah.
I suppose they weren't like an urban one, like kind of through the city.
Well, because I'm just looking here, it says they took place in San Francisco, Sierra Nevada, Napa Valley, the Pacific Coast Highway. You would have thought with San Francisco, you might have quite a bit of urban stuff, wouldn't you? But
Well, it
then
might be
again,
too much to render on the.
this is what
Mega
I was
Drive.
saying.
Well,
Maybe back in the day.
Can't do all
Remaster.
them blocks. Yeah. Oh, if they remastered it and like brought it up to scratch, like Road Rash 1 and 2.
A 32-bit.
Then again, didn't the Mega Drive have Sega Rally? Was it the 3D? One of the first 3D racing games.
I think that was a 32X game.
It could have been, yeah, actually.
And then it was also on the Saturn as well, which were both 32-bit systems.
Right.
Because I don't think the Mega Drive on its own could render that many polygons, or any, because it was more like 2D stuff.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
You know, originally we were going to do cars, but then they opted to do bikes because then they discovered that they could fit more of them on screen at any one time. So actually, I ended just working in their favour. You know?
Yeah.
I think you have like about 4 or 5 at once.
I have to say something that impressed me about it is you don't really see it much in games nowadays. Really, it's the mirrors thing. So,
yeah.
That
that
was a pretty cool feature, wasn't it?
Cat. Anyway, so
Is that me?
So yeah. So it was like, so you pass something, and in real time you can see exactly what's behind you, where they are. And it's just like you don't actually see that much nowadays. It's like I'm thinking of like GTA. You don't even have that.
Oh.
You just have like a blurred mirror.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any racing games that have that, but I can't.
I'm sure there'll be some, but that was definitely one of the earliest that I remember. And it's actually just a very useful thing for a game like that.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you can see behind you, then you can try and cut them up and get in front of them, can't you? Rather than you guessing it. So that was pretty good. Definitely. Here's a stat for you about Road Rash. So the Game Boy version was one of 2 licensed games that was incompatible with the Game Boy Color and any system beyond the Game Boy Color, so it can only work on the Game Boy. So yeah, there's that.
Trying to think like in what context does that actually mean?
So basically, you can only play it on a Game Boy. You can't play it on like a Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advanced, DS, anything like that.
Oh, was Road Rash on a Game Boy?
Yeah. So yeah, they had a port for it on Game Boy. They did plan a
Didn't know.
SNES version, but it was cancelled. So it only ever came out for Nintendo on the Game Boy. But yeah, you can't play it on any newer console than that, which I think is quite strange.
Yeah.
How they didn't get the emulation right on the color to do it, and it's never been done since. So yeah, it's a stat.
What's the other game that can't be played on the color but on Game Boy?
I don't know, but I will find out.
You find
Road Rash 2.
Road Rash 2, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's Road Rash 2 for what it's worth. Let's have a look.
So something quite surprising that I learned as well, going back to the original Road Rash, was that they didn't really have kind of the weapons system. I don't think, or at least not like the variety that like Road Rash 2 had. Like I was expecting like chains, a 2x4, baseball bats and all that, metal pipe. I think was there like a police's truncheon as well. I'm not sure.
Probably.
Probably
nicked that off of a rogue.
Oh yeah, nicked that off a cop and whacked him out. And then hit a tree and then got arrested straight. That's probably me. But it's not quite as violent as like I thought it was the original one. It's fairly
violent.
It's still violent, but like compared to the second one, it also feels a little bit more like actual kind of sports racing. Like the actual point is to race. Or it gets over that idea to do that more than the others, because the others I just want to go around, smash people off the bike.
Well, it was inspired by actual motorcycle racing, where people actually used to just grab onto others' bikes.
Really?
And like press their brakes and all that kind of stuff. It actually happens.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wild.
Never expected that.
Yeah. I thought it
So-
was just like an original idea.
No, it's
Yeah, just change somebody at face.
Yeah. Oh, you mate.
and obviously due to the game's violent content, we're unable to secure any licenses for the bikes, which
Yeah,
they
they were all
were originally intended. But apparently, they were all named after ones that existed. So in the game, you had Panda, Shuriken, Kamikaze, and Diablo. And they were supposed to represent Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, and Ducati.
Fair.
Not that I know any difference between any bikes whatsoever, but
No, I'm not a bike person either.
two wheels, handlebars.
Two wheels goes vroom vroom.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Funnily enough, me and Matt were talking about bikes earlier. We were saying if I ever like drove a bike in real life, I'd stop at like a traffic light and then just not put my legs out to steady it and just fall off.
Just fall over. Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Anyway, I never found out what that other game was. After extensive research for 3 minutes, I do not know.
That's fine.
I'll make it my mission after this.
Do you know how long development of Road Rash took?
If I had to have a guess, I'd say 6 months.
I'd say about 10 months.
That was actually 21 months.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
A long time into
long.
it.
Well, no, over 2 years. Close to 2 years.
For a game at that time, that is a long development time.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
is. Very long.
That's a
bad,
good
no.
point. What's the difference between Road Rash 1 and 2 in terms of when they came out? 1992.
It was
It was only a year. 92 for Road Rash 2.
Well, they'd have had the engine by that point, won't they? So
Yeah, true, because all they had to do is like add some more backgrounds in and put chains in and that's it. Done.
It's like
Slap
bringing
2
all
on
the
it.
weapons.
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
it. Club versus chain. Punching him in the face. Power Rangers.
Just Power Rangers on a motorbike.
I'd say I never understood why all the other competitors all wore the same gear. Oh, maybe that's assets, isn't it?
Biker gangs.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
They were sponsored.
I remember EA they put this engine in another game that I used to play called Skitching. Yeah, Skitching.
Skitching.
Yeah.
Skitching. Wow, never
It's
heard of that.
basically Road Rash, but you're on rollerblades.
Okay.
So you're racing down a road and you grab onto the backs of vehicles and they pull you along.
Okay.
And then you kind of like slingshot yourself off them. And then,
Yeah.
and then you batter people.
Oh, yeah.
Good
I'm just
change.
looking at that now. Just punching people.
Very good game.
Hey, Sketchy managed to get like an urban background by the looks of this. Like at Road Rash.
Yeah.
When was Skitching released? Wonder if, well, I'd imagine it'd be after Road Rash.
94. So a couple of years after. So it might be that they could have pushed more out of the console.
Yeah,
at
they
that
probably
point.
had to push a little bit more out of it.
Mm.
Suppose there was the PS1 version. I don't know if you guys ever played that.
No, I never played the PS1 version. What was that like?
It was all right. A little bit more involved. Sorry, I thought someone was coming up.
Yeah, that was it. A bit more involved.
Very much, yeah. A little bit more. I'll probably start again. So, I can't remember if they did get 3D graphics or we're still kind of 2D, but much more, updated graphics sort of thing. The best thing that I can remember from the game is that like whether you won or you kind of got busted or arrested, or if you ended up destroying your bike, there was always like a filmed cutscene for each one.
Mm.
I remember as a kid, I was always like absolutely frightened of one of the busted cutscenes where like they like open like a car door, the police car door to like a canine who like chases like the biker, and then like the bike balls over, turns around, and like you just see the dog's face there, just absolutely just gnawing it like at the screen. It's just like, oh my god, why have you put this in a kids game?
Well, saying that, wouldn't he be wearing his helmet?
He was, yeah. So
Doesn't matter.
Just
Bite
not
me.
the dog
Do
then.
it.
Yeah.
Not the dog.
Jesus.
You're not gonna get me
I have
alive.
RSPCA on watching.
Ignore that advice. Don't do that, people.
Yeah,
Dogs are nice.
Just nut the dog. It'll be right.
That's what we should call this podcast. Just nut the dog.
Just pull out some sausages. That'll help.
I'm just looking at some screenshots of the PS1 version, and it's all rendered in 3D, and there's cars there as well. It looks pretty good actually, and they've actually got some urban backgrounds by the looks of this.
Yeah,
So you're all about your urban backgrounds, aren't you?
Definitely. It's what the OG one I'm missing, so it's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, if you can somehow find it for PS1, it'd be worth a go for sure.
I'm sure I can find it by means. So there we have it. Road Rash into the Video Game Hall of Fame. If you enjoyed listening to us, please consider tuning in next time. We release bi-weekly on Tuesdays. You can visit our website at jokingdolphin.com, where we post blogs on the Hall of Fame. Also, feel free to follow us on all social media platforms to continue the conversation. You can find Joking Dolphin on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at Joking Dolphin. We're also on YouTube, where we post this big podcast. Until next time, thanks for listening. Ta-da!
Take care.
Giraffes, everybody.